Silent John incremental, another silent instrumental, the nerd rap existential. People compare me to MC Christopher a lot, but the fact is I predict it with significance. I'm the oldest geek rapper by far, save K and R. Compiling kernels, open bracket, cause I racket. And my teen nerds throw your laser pen in the air and wave it all around like you had no repercussions. Now follow instructions, Professor. Why these discussions consist of nothing but incoherent rambling and babbling? But you should still take notes, cause you never know what's happening. I'll drop a little nugget, a tidbit if you will. There were 4 United States presidents named Bill.
Really?
If you run out of hit points, the game will shout.
Your life force is running out.
If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life, yeah. Let me start again, put it on like a cardigan, swinging like my name was Mad Mardigan. Which reminds me, Warwick Davis was Willow and a knee walk. Leonard Nimoy was Galvatron and Spock. That ain't typecast, I don't know what it. Talk about predestiny, nobody gets the best of me. I've only played one role my whole lifetime. The nerd lifeline, stream through a wicked pipeline. So no one can bite mine, cause mine is original and I write rhymes to burn on a CD, play in the mini V. Soccer moms yodel back, yodel at belittle me. I got a sidekick, I gotta stay connected. Watch out for my decom or you'll get infected. And you don't wanna be one of my bots, cause I see it all like Sauron the Cyclops. And I won't hesitate to drop your whole net block if you're acting up and you're dumber than a pet rock. I'm about this nerd life, as you can see, spreading like a virus on MP3.
Yeah, on MP3. STC. Shoutouts to Vic, Agnostic One, up for fucking Silent John. Yeah. Nerd Life, Graphing Calculator, HP48G. The G is for gangster. Digital snip, yeah. You know how we do.
What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and I am joined this week by my man Gary, the obsessive compulsive gamer. What's up, Gary?
Yeah, what's going on?
We thought we were going solo, but Gary, as soon as I hit live, Gary popped in. What is going on, Gary? Haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Tonight might be a little in and out for me because I have the AirPods and they don't last forever. So I couldn't find the corded headphones. So I'll probably be in for a little bit and then I'll probably jump back on a little later on the the after show.
So Days Gaming said he might be late. He might not show up. He's out with family or some such nonsense like that. Bob probably asleep. Yeah, MIA. We don't know where Bob's at. Blinded also said he might be busy due to the 3-day weekend or something. I don't know why Canadians would have 4th of July off, but apparently they're trying to celebrate our holiday. We have no Andy with us today, so that is also a thing. But how's your week been, Gary? I heard that your dad buried. You're no longer relevant on YouTube.
What was that?
You're dead and buried. Apparently, the whole cult has been disbanded, dead and buried. We're all gone. Is this true?
I don't think the cult's dead and buried. I think we just have lives, and unfortunately, we can't. Sometimes we just can't be here at every moment. So I think if that's a Cam statement, that was a pretty dumb thing to say. And then Ninja Kitty had brought up a good point. I seen in the DMs that he was contradicting himself in that last video that he made about people needing to get out and enjoy the sunshine and then criticizing other people for enjoying the sunshine and not making videos every day. So I don't know what that guy wants.
Yeah, it is a weird situation. This week has definitely been weird. We've had big YouTubers, small YouTubers, irrelevant YouTubers coming at us, claiming we're dead, claiming we're nobodies, but somehow relevant enough to talk about and make videos and do live streams. It's a crazy time on YouTube.
That it is, Tony. That it is.
How has your week been going? How's the game?
Oh, well, my voice is a little rough this week. Last couple weeks, I've been trying to work out personal stuff, and unfortunately, the show has had to take the back seat to that. Trying to get out of this place, trying to get a new car for the old lady because we've been having van troubles. So I've been pretty busy with life stuff, unbeknownst to the fools going around talking junk. So it's life, right? It's like every day's a challenge. So, but I'm still here. I'm kicking.
Yeah, like I said, it has been a crazy week. I got involved in some Snyderverse controversy. I don't know if anybody follows that. I dipped my toe. I was over there on Mad Max's stream, chilling with those guys, talking some stuff. And apparently they did a whole stream. They were very upset because we called out some scoopers, right? You know, I always have a problem with people who make things up or, you know, claim one thing and then claim another thing just so they can cover their bases. And, you know, they're promoting a certain website and they're basically trying to, you know, grift off of this website, trying to make it seem like they're more important, more correct than they are. And so we called some people out. And those people didn't like it. Their fans didn't like it. So they came at us, did a whole live stream, started calling me the frog guy, the frog dude. It was a very weird situation. Very weird. Then, of course, we had Mecha Random's whole thing. 3 weeks after we did a video on her, she decided to try to call us out and say that we're destroying her YouTube channel. So we are going to talk a little bit more about her later on the after show because I wanted to bring some things up about her and the way she runs her channel, you know, the way she does her grift. And, of course, we got our favorite friends, Canadian Gamer. He's saying we're dead. The cult's disbanded. There was no cult to begin with. He's included weird people into this cult, you know, Saggy Melons.
John. Run. Yeah, I seen that. Kind of weird. I didn't know they were part of the. I mean, they're welcome friends to the show, but they're not staples of the show.
Yeah, we love Potion Sword Run, but he's what you would call a neutral outside observer. You know, he takes shots at everybody. He does his thing. We appreciate it. Retro Bro, friend of the show, we've had him on here, but again, it's not really a Gabbing with Geeks member, a geek getaway. He doesn't put videos on our channel. He doesn't collab with us that much. He hangs out on the after show sometimes, you know. Yeah, Saggy has her own cult. She does her own thing. I'm friends with her. I don't think Ninja Kitty likes her that much or as much as I do. Not that I, you know, like her in that way. To make that clear, because I know you guys want to take shit out of context. So I don't know why she's included. Just a lot of weird things.
there was a moment we went to Meijer yesterday, and that's a local chain up here in the Midwest, founded here in Michigan. I was t-shirt shopping, and I came across the I Love Green shirt, and it had Kermit on there, and I had to really think, am I really a part of this cult? And I looked over next to it, and there was another green shirt, and there were turtles on it. So I had to go with the turtles because I was this close to thinking maybe I am in a cult. Maybe I can't get this Kermit shirt because some people might take it the wrong way.
Yeah, so this whole cult idea, I'm not a cult leader. I'm not David Koresh. I don't control what these people say. I allow them to have a voice. We all collab on this channel, mostly because, you know, Gary doesn't do any videos, so he comes over here, hangs out. Dazed, he likes to make videos on his own, but he also likes to come over here and do stuff with us. Ninja Kitty just does his own thing. Bob, he does his own thing. We love Bomberny. But, you know, sometimes you need a place to talk. The same reason why I hang out on Max's streams, you know, because they talk Marvel movies and DC movies and things like that. Stuff that we don't really typically talk about over here. We tried it, didn't really work. A lot of the people on the show don't really have interest in it, so it's kind of hard to get a conversation going. It's usually just me and Blinded. So I go over there, right? Doesn't make me part of Max's cult. Doesn't make me trying to combine the two cults together, as it were. It's just called people having friends, having lives, and having interest outside of their own little bubble. Please try it sometimes. But beyond that, I did do some more looking into the whole Project Unicorn thing. I know you guys are all excited about that. You're all wondering if it's real. Some people are still thinking that it's kind of a hoax or something like that.
We've got them. We've got them hooked. They're interested.
From my research, it does appear it's not going to be a major update, but it does appear that, you know, it is financially viable to create a low-cost, no frills, no thrills box powered by something like a RetroPie. However, the issue that we would have, and the same issue that the Amico has, and the same issue that the Atari VCS has, is games, right? What would be the interest in the console? Why would people buy it? We're not going to be able to track any big developers. We're not going to be able to track any mid-level developers. We're not going to be able to track any low-level developers, right? We would have to be tracking first-time developers, friends that we know, people who are desperate, you know, whose Kickstarters failed like 3 or 4 times or something, you know, right? Because there's going to be no fan base. There's going to be maybe 10,000, you know, consoles sold lifetime. Because we don't have the name recognition. We don't have the fan base. We don't have an old IP that we can, you know, try to piggyback off of. It'd be something from scratch. So I'm starting to look at it. I'm starting to think, you know, we would have to do in-house development. We'd have to contact somebody, you know, maybe like a Gatoroos or something, and get some games developed in-house, be a publisher. But even then, we'd run into the problem of people not being able to trust us, right? First-time developers, why would they pick up a console? I would say, hey, I want a Gatoroos game, right? So now we got the same problem. So I'm starting to take a step back. I'm thinking, you know, the same thing that we suggested to Tommy is probably the same thing we would have to do. And we would first have to get some developers. And, you know, like I said, you know, like a Gary, like a Gatoroos, myself, you know, some other people get together, make 3-4 games, put them on a couple consoles, get them published on, you know, itch.io, on the Playdate, get it on the Steam Deck, on the Evercade, what have you. Get the name out there, get the brand out there, right? So then people could trust us, say, hey, they make good games. You know, their next game is going to be exclusive to the Unicorn. I want to get that. I want to pick that up. You know, it's a $100, $150 console. It's going to have these games made by these developers that are good. That would generate a little interest. That would also generate possibly getting some developers who have a little bit of buzz themselves to at least be willing to take a shot on putting a game on there, right? So that's where we're at with that. We're going to take a step back, see about maybe releasing some stuff on our own, get Gary to sign a couple contracts, send away his firstborn, something like that, so that way we can get his game under the label. So that's where we're at with Project Unicorn. Like I said, we were going to take an actual hard look at it, at the facts, at the marketing, at the financials, see if it's viable, see what we could do to actually get something produced and made. And that's where we're at with it. Sound like a plan to you, Gary? Does it sound reasonable what I said?
I don't know about signing my firstborn away, but I'm on board with everything else.
Right, because like I said, there really would be no, like, let's say we get it out there, right? Let's say somehow I finagled a bunch of money and we got it produced and we got, you know, 100,000 consoles sitting there, $100, $150, whatever it ends up being. Why would you buy it? You wouldn't. Again, there's no games, right? We're not going to get a Konami to bring Castlevania over. We're not going to get Contra, a new Contra game out there. We're not going to get Mega Man 11, 12, 13, whatever the hell numbers are on now. So again, there'd be no reason to buy it. Anything that's multi-platform, you would just buy a platform you already own. So, we have talked, or at least I have. I'm not going to say we, but I have talked to several people in the industry. Some people have given me advice. And this is where we're at. I think we're going to have to step back, publish some games. We actually have a prototype. Not a prototype made, but more like a sketched out design and everything. Like I said, it's going to be low frills. We're not going to have, LEDs. There's not going to be crazy rumble. We're not going to have haptic feedback and fucking a suit that gives you a BJ, nothing like that, right? It's just going to be a simple box.
What about a crank?
No crank. No gimmicks. That what we're going is we're gonna go like old school, no gimmicks, right? To keep the cost.
Speaking of cranks, though, sometimes gimmicks work, and I think I know I popped in last minute, but last couple of weeks, I don't think anybody really got my take on the Playdate. I did want to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. And the Playdate, I think, is a unique thing because it did have, even though it is a technically new console, they did produce other things, right? The companies had a reputation, so it's not like they just came out of nowhere and started making Playdates, right? So we'll see how that goes. On a more personal level, unfortunately, one of my friends was diagnosed with cancer today, so that's kind of a bummer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So. Thoughts and prayers out to my friend, if you got them. If not, whatever. But other than that, I mean, everything's all good. Sidekick Max is at a party right now, so he's out there living it up. And that's really all I got. You got anything else, Gary?
No, it sounds like you covered it pretty good.
I usually do. So that's it for the intro. 17 minutes. Wow. Kind of fast. It's kind of a short intro today. Usually we go like an hour, just bullshitting. I guess that's what happens when there's only two of us. So let's say hi to the people in chat. Who we got here? We got Tommy Amico. He's always here first. We got Albert Menendez, No Call, No Show, Mr. Beefy, Evil Knievel, MIDI Music, 56K Warning, Sweet and Tender Hooligan, Chappie McChapster, Stream Element Spot, love Stream Element Spot, and just another viewer, and Max Lenards. What's up, Max? And D Reed. D Reed just popped in. Hope he makes it through. It's a she, Max. It's a she. I don't have male friends. I'm one of those people that don't hang out with females. Not like Gary. Gary hangs around with number dudes, right, Gary?
Of course.
Can Andy give his review of Lightyear? Have you seen Lightyear, Andy?
Have I seen what?
Lightyear.
I have not. We do kind of wanted to see that. I don't know. There's something that I think looks good about it, but there's I don't know if it's like the toy line. Excuse me. There's something off about it, but there's something cool about it too. So we'll see it when it comes out to like DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. We usually, unless it's something that we absolutely have to see in the theaters, we usually wait because it only takes a couple months and then it's out, and then we see it for a fraction of the price. But yeah, we haven't seen that.
Have you been playing any games lately, Gary? Anything new?
To be honest, since Turtles. I beat it the first day it came out. I beat it within a few hours, like I said, on joined the stream a week ago or a couple weeks ago, just for a little bit. I beat that as soon as I got my hands on it when it dropped at 8, 9 in the morning or whatever. Put a few hours into that, and then to be honest, it's been all Playdate. And not to say that I've been playing Playdate religiously every day. I've been, like I said, I've been busy with a lot of stuff between trying to get the fam out of here and then trying to look for a car. But I haven't really been focused on anything else. I do want to play Pocky and Rocky. I know that dropped a few days ago or whatever.
I'm boycotting that.
I was okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people are upset about the boobies, but that's not a big issue to me. I do want to play that though, because that was a game that I rented back in the day on the Super Nintendo. I loved it.
I did too. I was looking forward to it, but it goes beyond the boobs, right? It's not about the boobs. It's about what the boobs represent. It's about the censorship, the self-censorship, right? There's really no reason to do that, especially since the Japanese version actually has English subtitles and everything enabled. You just got to go into the settings. So you can pick up the full cleavage on display version that will work, with your Switch, because the Switch is region free.
I mean, the way I look at it though is if you're a collector, that's a bonus. Now you got two different versions. You can say, hey, I got the way it was meant to be, the Japanese release, and then the American censored. The way I look at it is, I had a debate with somebody in a comment section. I said, look, censorship's not going to stop. Censorship's been around for a long time. The game doesn't seem to really suffer that much. I mean, this is going to be something that if you're not a huge gamer and you're a casual, you pick it up, you're probably not going to know the fact that certain little elements are censored. It's not that big of a deal to me. And here's the reason why. If the Switch was, region blocked or whatever, I'd say, okay, that kind of sucks. You can't really play it. But the fact that you can have that version, if you want, you can buy it. You don't have to get the Western release. I mean, there are things stopping it from being a real issue for me, and they're just minor things. I don't know how far it goes aside from the cleavage thing, but it really isn't that big of an issue. And as long as the gameplay is intact and it runs relatively the same, I don't really have an issue with it. But each to their own. I mean, if you find it kind of dumb, which I do, I don't think there's really a big reason, especially since there's been nudity in sex and video games here in the West all the way going back to, I think, like God of War was when it really started showing up with the boobies in like PS2 versions or whatever. It is stupid. It's stupid, but it is what it is. I mean, they did what they did, so it's something we have to live with.
Yeah, but I think it's actually it goes beyond that. I'm going to show. I got the screens up. You know me, love my boobies. But these are the screens we're talking about here. This is the Japanese version up top here. And this is the American version. As you can see, the cleavage has been covered up by this white under kimono or whatever the hell it is supposed to be. Which
let me just say that I like both. I think both look good though. I think I like the way that the dress appears, but I also like the cleavage in the original, the way it was intended to be. So,
well, I think for me, what's truly egregious in this whole thing is the goddess Ame no Azumi. Her whole story, her whole myth involves her using her sexuality in order to obtain things, right? Like her main story is that the god, I think it's like the sun, goes and hides in a cave, right? The world's dying because the sun is in a cave and it's not shining any light. So she goes out and they're trying to convince the sun to come out and it doesn't want to come out. So she goes, strips naked and just starts fucking dancing. And this spectacle causes the sun to come out and be like, what the fuck's going on? And when he comes out, they close off the cave and kick his ass back into the sky and say, hey, go fucking do your job. So that's like her whole gimmick, right?
Right. So there's no need to go and do it to cover her up and go do what they did. It takes away from that story element, which I agree. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And like I said, if this was just like a random character, I would be on board with you. Like, you know what? I don't like it, but I want to play the game. So whatever, right? It'd be less offensive. But this is basically like if they said, hey, we're going to make a game with Jesus, but then we're going to, remove his crown of thorns because, it's too gory or something. You'd be like, dude, that's part of his gimmick. That's part of his character, right? So that's just my feelings on this particular issue. So I will not be purchasing the game. Maybe I'll import the Japanese version. I'm not really big on physical media, but Maybe. We'll see. Gary will let me know if it's worth importing. Mark Hamill works at a Chick-fil-A. That's interesting to know. Japanese boobs, what am I missing? Exactly. Tommy Amico says they're trying to appeal to more people. They don't care if you get the Japanese version, you moron. The Japanese version is only available. The Switch is region free, so you can get the Japanese version on Switch. You can't get the Japanese version on the PS5 or the PS4. So, and just another viewer says, besides It Takes Two, what have you been playing? Gary kind of answered why. Like you said, I played It Takes Two. I've gone back and started playing some more Avengers. I know people don't like the game, but they just added the Mighty Thor, female Jane Foster Thor. So there's a little new content in there. I bought some games on sale. So my collection has increased again by like 6 or 7 games that I'm not going to play. But I've been playing the Parasite Pack. I just did a review on that. Flea and Disco Tapeworm Puzzle or something like that. Disco Puzzle Tapeworm, something like that.
Which how good was that, Tony? Because I seen you posted that on Twitter, and like I said, I believe that was developed by Low Tech, and they actually ported that to the Playdate. It was actually interesting looking the day it popped up. I thought it looked like a really good puzzle game. And Low Tech, I also mentioned that Low Tech had a kite fishing game in development that he submitted for the either season 2 or the Playdate store, which they're going to call catalog in the future if that does come to fruition. So did look interesting.
Well, both games started off as Kickstarters that were homebrew NES Maker games for the Nintendo. They don't have the best visuals, right? The visuals is probably the worst part of the game because, like I said, he was using NES Maker.
I have that program. It's a good program.
When you use programs like that, you can just tell. Like when someone makes an RPG with RPG Maker, there's tells in the way that like the stages are set up and the little extras.
Well, right. It was NES Maker was built around a game that, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a Legend of Zelda top-down isometric viewpoint, I think. So it has to follow those constraints of the program. But overall, I think it's passable. It's not terrible. It's not super ugly looking. But obviously, like you said, there were limitations there.
Yeah, but it definitely replicates the NES look and feel. Flea, I recommended the Parasite Pack overall, just so we and also so we're clear, I did get a review copy, so understand that. But Flea, it's a platformer where your character is constantly jumping, right? And that's like the gimmick. And each single screen levels, right? Nothing fancy. You just got to go from point A to point B. But there's obstacles in your way. Maybe there's insects. Maybe there's thumbtacks, even though they look more like swords. They're called thumbtacks. You got to collect blood vials. And the blood can be traded in for lives at various points in the game, right? I think it's like every 5 levels or so you run into a giant flea. He's like, hey, give me the blood, I'll give you some lives. So it opens up the whole risk reward because there's going to be blood vials that are out of the way. So do you try to go for them and possibly kill yourself, because it is tough. It is very tough as you start to progress through the levels. They start off real simple. You jump over a little thumbtack and you're like, oh, this is fucking easy, right? And then by like stage 20, you're like, oh shit, I gotta fucking angle it just right to go between these two and then fucking jump the right height, because if I jump too high, then I fucking hit the ceiling fucking thumbtack. But if I jump too low, I fucking hit the one on the floor. So it gets difficult. And it ramps up real early. But it hooks you. It's like addictive. It's like one of those games that like you play it and you just start getting frustrated, so you want to keep playing it. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna beat this level. I can't believe I died to this stupid fucking game. So you just keep playing it. probably works better on the Switch because it would be mobile and you'd be able to sit there like the bus stop or on the train or something. But if you actually go ahead and put it on your like PlayStation or your Xbox, and you sit down and play it, it will addict you. It will grab you if you give it the chance. The audio's fucking fantastic. Now, the other game that comes with it is Disco Tapeworm. That's more like playing Snake and Lolo. You got to stretch out your worm to collect notes. And it's like a puzzle because you got, again, obstacles. You got things flying around. You got to try to figure out how to get the shit without getting killed.
So can you like block, like you can have, like you'll have parts that you can kind of like mess up even if they're like no, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but Lolo was like, you could push a block in front of your way, right? And you'd have to restart the
oh yeah, there's definitely ways to mess up because it starts off with one mechanic, like the simple stretch the worm, get the fucking notes, right? But as you progress, it starts adding other things like, oh, now you got to help this flea get from point A to point B. So you got to move the obstacles out of the way and kind of act as a bridge and a wall and, different things like that. Some levels might have fleas jumping, trying to get blood. So now you have to help them. But if you boost them up too high, they fucking hit shit and now they're dead. So it's, like I said, it starts simple and you're like, oh, it gives you a real simple premise. And then it slowly adds different mechanics. And again, it looks so good. You just look at it, you're like, oh, I'm going to fucking just stretch that way. And then you're dead. You're like, fuck. So again, very addictive, but much better on the Switch simply because it's portable. As much as I like the games, if I'm going to sit down, put my PlayStation on, I don't see myself picking that over something else, right? I would pick Elden Ring to play before this. But if I was sitting on the shitter, I wouldn't have access to Elden Ring, right? I might not have access to the newer game. Fuck it, I got this. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm waiting on the bus. I'm sitting in the doctor's office. So I think that's where the benefit of the Switch version would be. But it is a good game overall. Don't say Elden Ring in front of Gary. But I do recommend you get it. I am curious how the crank would be used on the Playdate version. You still with us, Gary? We lost Gary. What's up, Retro Bro? Part of the cult. Tommy Amico says, I still don't understand this unicorn situation. Tony's going to get Gatoraos and Gary to like make the games in his name or something. Okay, so again, if we're going to make a console, we would need games, right? And in order to get good games, you have to kind of have a name, some kind of hook, some reason for developers to go on there. So we're going to take a step back and work on creating our own games. Now, Gary's already creating a game. Gatoraos had already volunteered to create games for the unicorn. So I'm going to talk to him, talk to Gary, talk to some other people, see if we can get some games, maybe published on itch.io, stuff like that. So we get our names out there so people are like, hey, these guys make decent games or these guys make shit games, right? And we'll see how it goes from there. Tommy Umiko says, I'm trying to get banned. Tony realized that the Protestant Reformation started with people not wanting to see the corpse of Christ every day and blood coming off him. I did not know that. Somebody make a game with Jesus and they won't show his bloody corpse on his cross. That doesn't mean it's not the same thing. Wow. It says you're not making shit. It's not true, Tommy. He volunteered to do work for you. This is turning into a cult. People have friends. Friends volunteer to help you with stuff. Gary, you alive?
I am alive. I was hooking up the Playdate. I was checking it out and it was dead. So if I show it to you guys a little later, I need to charge it up.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. We'll get to, I'm always down to collaborate. Unfortunately, I'm not the jack of all trades. I can't do the programming and the artistry and, all. I wish I could. I wish I knew that side of it. I would be making games by myself. I am the artist, animator. That comes first and foremost. So yeah, I'm always down. If Gatoroos wants to collab on something and let me do the art and the animation, I'm all for it. So,
but who's doing the story and that sort of thing? Developing the whole gameplay mechanic, the hook of the game.
I try to take that burden too. I mean, like I've said, I've played so many games over the years. I've been a huge collector, and everything that I collect, I at least, when I buy something, I'll pop it in for an hour. I like to think that I know what's fun to play. Just whether that be something that's really easy, pick up and play, and quick, or something that's really in depth. I like to tackle all of that. Programming really is the only thing that's like I don't really understand and haven't spent too much time, learning about. So that is the big, my big stopping point when it comes to things that are like, well, how are we going to implement this? Or that's kind of like a learning process. As you're doing the art and the animation and creating these characters, and you have an idea in hand, all this stuff kind of springs up over the process of making a game, or at least that's what I like to think that's how devs are tackling it. That things are constantly changing. What can work, what can't work. Limitations of hardware or something that kind of go beyond me. And there's a lot of guys I hear in the industry where they're like, oh yeah, they want to implement all these things, but they don't understand what kind of these limitations that are going to stop you from being able to do what you want to do. So I mean, that all factors in. So when it comes down to at the end of the day, like I said, programming and understanding the limitations are my biggest strike against me. But I'm willing to do the rest of it. Everything else, except for the coding, the programming, all that good stuff. So
everything except for the hard work. Got it.
Yeah, the real hard work.
I'm like Gary. I don't know how to code or program. That's why I've monkeyed around with RPG Maker. I do have ideas for games and things I want to see. So I think I'm going to build a nice little RPG. I got RPG Maker. I always get the newest version. Every time a new version comes out, I get it. I'm like, I'm going to fucking make a game this time. This time I'm going to do it. And then life gets in the way, and it gets put to the wayside. But I think I'm going to go ahead and make it happen. Now, Tommy here, who says, if your friend volunteers to build you a fence, you don't get to say, we built a fence. Come look at our fence building company. No, but if your friend volunteers to help you with your commercial industry, right? If I say, hey, I'm going to make a fence building company, and they're like, I will work for you and build fences for your company and represent your company, then yes, you do get to say, because it's your company. You still own it, right?
Who's painting the fence? I mean, that guy deserves some credit too with the when it's all said and done with. So, I mean, it's like I said, we were working on a game. We are working on a game for Playdate. And here's the thing: I understand that the programming side of it is hard. That's why I'm leaving it to that person to do that. But I'm taking everything else under. I'm taking that burden of doing everything else because I understand that is everything grouped in, to me at least, feels like the amount of work that person's doing. We're partners kind of 50-50 in this. So like, without each other working together, like I couldn't be able to do this without the programming side. And if that person's, not so good at doing the art and the animation and maybe, the music and the sound effects and all that other good stuff, then obviously we have, that's why I wanted to go 50-50 and say, hey, look, like I couldn't do this without you. And I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. You couldn't do this without me. So I feel like if both parties are happy with that, then, it's a good thing.
Tommy says, people are working for your company for free and it's not charity. That means you have a cult. Lol, I love you, but this unicorn shit might drive me off. First off, you don't need to put the asterisk. You could just write the word shit. Secondly, no one said they were working for free, right? Obviously, they would build the thing, and then when we sell the thing, they would get the profits. I'm not keeping the profits. I'm not slapping my name in the credits. They would still be, it would just say, the little publisher would say publisher, fucking unicorn company, right? Or whatever the name of the company ends up being. That's it. Now, we would obviously work out a financial deal for everything.
Well,
you're making assumptions.
Right. And even if, that's always going to be up to the guys making the stuff. I mean, you look on YouTube nowadays, there's a lot of like lawn cutting services that offer their services for free so that they can get their name out there. If that group of people, whoever are working on something, excuse me, are willing to do something for free, I mean, you got to understand that getting your name out there is still, it's worth something. You know what I mean? It's worth something to somebody. So, that's all on that person. If they're willing to do that, I mean, that's not a discredit towards Tony or anybody who has that. Even though I don't think that's what's going on, but people know what they're getting into. People are pretty smart.
So Retro Bro and Evil Knievel are saying, Tony, even Retro Bro is owning up. How is this different from what Tellerico did? Retro Bro says, you're really just doing the same thing Tommy did, though, Tony. No, I'm not, because I'm not taking their work for free. I'm not taking credit for their work. I'm not saying that I'm going to, I'm not going to slap my name in their place and say this is a fucking Tony TGD game, right? Sometimes when we speak in the royal we. Okay, so I say we're doing a thing. That's because I'm involved in some capacity, not necessarily in the main capacity. Again, they will be financially compensated. I'm not going to take advantage of people. I'm not going to just have people work for free. And I think these people would understand that. I think, like I said, Gary is going to work on his game. And obviously he's like, hey, we'll port it over to the fucking unicorn, or we'll do whatever. He's going to get compensated. We're not going to just take his shit for free. Okay? Yeah, Tommy took money. Am I going to get money for the work? No, I'm not going to get money for the work. I'm going to get money eventually when we make something, when I make something that I put money into. If I financially invest, if I say, here, Gary, here's fucking $5,000, make a game, I'm going to take 10%, just like any developer, any publisher, then yes, I would get money. But until that happens, no, Gary would get all the money. Next up, Tony says no crowdfunding, then launches an Indiegogo. I actually said crowdfunding from the beginning. The whole idea was to see if it was financially viable and then crowdfund. To sell illegal ROMs much easier and bigger margins. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that. Work should be paid. That's what I'm saying. Why does everybody think I'm not paying anybody? Gary, did I accidentally say I wasn't paying people?
No, you didn't. I don't know. Everybody's they're looking for something to get you on, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. When I said Gatoroo said he would make games, I didn't say he would do it for free and I wouldn't pay him. To clarify, I only intended to make some little free games. See, I don't need work. I just do things I have fun doing. That's what I was talking about. See, and obviously Gatoroo's being the smart person. He would, I would go to him and ask him for advice and stuff like that. I'm not going to, again, make people do shit free. And before it's just a pi zero. God, can't talk about nothing without you guys just trying to rip everything apart. You guys are haters. Tommy was right. You guys are a bunch of haters. Damn gaming communists. We don't think you'll pay people because you meant it to scam people in another life. That's a fair point. Fair point. But I've also just given out money to charity and stuff too. So it's okay, man. I'm just fucking around. I don't know. It's all valid. It's all valid criticism. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to find your role in this company. If your role is to be the investor, you're gonna give him $5,000. It's a good role. Tommy O is high and goofy. No. This is where all the wrenches start mass banning like at AA. No. Like I said, just working on things. We're just talking to people, seeing what's what. At the whole end of this pipe dream, we're probably going to just find out that it's not even going to be worth. It's not going to be worth all the effort, all the money. It's just a fucking dumpster fire that you can just throw shit in there. Gary said name recognition for some. Well, yeah. Just, Gary talks sometimes. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We're losing them, Gary. We're losing the crowd.
We can't save everybody.
But here's the thing, Potion. If I could save Gary's comment, if I created like Steam, right? Steam charges you money to get your game on Steam. If I said no money charged, it's just got to be a non-buggy, non-acid flip thing, and we'll let you publish it on the console, right? And if you decide you don't want to charge anything, you just want it published on the console, I'm not going to force you to charge people money, right? If you're like, no, I'm just going to put it out there to get my name out there. That's on you, right? There's games on PlayStation that are free, right? Free to play games and stuff. Maybe they bomb, maybe they don't. Just make an Amico parody. Y'all already have the back end. Yeah. Master System Marceau wants to develop a game for you. He could.
And again, this is how Playdate's kind of letting developers do what they want. They don't have a storefront right now, and anything that's to be sideloaded is handled through itch.io. And I don't know if there's another site. I'm not too sure, but a lot of this is getting put up on itch.io. They're not asking for a penny. Itch has, I think, a 10% or something like that fee for when they sell, not for listing them. So, I mean, this is to help, other guys that might not have been able to go the route of securing funds or what have you to get their game out. And I think it's a viable option. Obviously, there are things that need to be kind of sorted out and dealt with, but
yeah, we're still in the planning. It's still early,
right.
early phases, guys. Evie says, do you even time your streams for the same time as DT, bro? No, this stream always 7 o'clock every Saturday, 7:05. We go live. It doesn't matter who else is streaming. This is our schedule. We called it way in advance, and anybody who is in the community, just avoid 7 o'clock till the fucking next day, because that's Geek Getaway time, right?
It's been like that since I've been with you, Tony.
Yeah. Wait, wouldn't you need servers to publish things on a console? Not unless we have physical media, Tommy, which is what we said at the beginning when we first started this journey, to have a low-cost, actual physical media machine. No frills, no thrills. But I think that's enough. What started off was supposed to be just a little bit turned into this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, we're beating a dead horse here.
Like I said, it is just something, that we're working on. We're investigating. We're looking to see, would it be financially viable? That was the whole purpose of Project Unicorn. And that's it. These are the steps we're taking. Talk to some people, reach out to other people, see what's going on, look at the market, look at prices, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and Intellivision Zero was better because he just had fucking pie in the sky dreams. I can tell you that my system's going to fucking suck your dick and pay your taxes, but it's not going to happen, right? I'm not going to lie to you. In the words of Phil Adam, I'm not going to come out here and just bullshit you. If you found out people are willing to work for free, then yes, it's financially viable. I guess that kind of is what viable means. No. Now, you can make a hate parody, Rabbit Dude. I'll be looking forward to that. Carl's going to bankroll the unicorn with his TikTok money? No, I think Carl's mad at it. But anyway, moving on. There was a game that Gary's been talking about. He's been telling me how great it's going to be, but unfortunately, something has happened, and we're going to talk about that. You prepared for this, Gary?
I'm not. I've been so out of the game the last like 3 weeks. I'm not prepared at all. I have no idea what game you're talking about.
All right.
Was it a game that we covered a while back on the Indie Spotlight or something like that?
No, not quite. But it is a game that you mentioned several times on the show. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the first actual segment, 50 minutes in. So this is a fucking new record for us. Sea of Stars has been delayed. What does it mean?
I seen that coming.
What does it say? We're going to talk about this. Let me just remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel because every subscription helps Bomberny get up on time for the show. All right, so Gary, I know you've been saying how Sea of Stars is coming out. It's gonna be this great game. Yada yada.
Hey! To be fair, I posted this on Twitter a while back. The developers, and I'm not exactly sure what one of the main developers' names is. He actually, if you pay attention to Sea of Stars, they'll every once a month or once every 2 weeks they'll go and he'll play certain parts of the game. The last one that I had watched, he had actually said that it wasn't going to make this year and that it was going to be delayed. So this is not new news, but it's probably more official news because, like I said, it was just in that video and they talked about how it wasn't going to make this year and it was most likely going to be pushed back to next year. So I knew this going.
Yeah, so real quickly, they posted this on Twitter. It says, a word from the team. As we are closing in on a very big milestone, the road to launch becomes clearer. We find ourselves here with a large body of text and our logos at the bottom. Keeping in mind our two main priorities, quality of life for our team and quality of the finished product game, we can now confirm that Sea of Stars will be released in 2023. We understand waiting is a big ask. We want to sincerely thank our community for the overwhelming support and positive vibes. In the meantime, we are looking at options to get a playable slice out to everyone this year. All the love, Sabo team. So are you still looking forward to this? Is this going to be in your 2023 Game of the Year, Gary?
Oh, sorry about that. This I don't know if it's going to be Game of the Year. The more I see of it, the more I think people don't realize that it's going to be a very basic game. I was never one who was big on like food crafting. It seems to have a kind of a food crafting system. The game kind of reminds me of like a Mario or in Luigi RPG, which is, I always like those, those button prompts that you hit and you do a little extra damage. I like those. So aside from it being pretty, if you've watched any of the developers, gameplay and they'll take you through bits of the game and what it's going to end up like, I think it's going to end up disappointing some. So if you keep your expectations low, that it's just going to be a pretty fun combat type RPG, I think you'll be happy with it. I don't think it's going to be this grand adventure. I mean, people look at the graphics and the art style, and they really think that this is going to be an enormous game. But I think it'll be good. Do I think it'll be Game of the Year material? No, but I do think it'll be really good. And the extra time is always much needed. These games get delayed, and more care and more attention gets put into them. So that's always a good thing, at least in my opinion.
But it's from the guys who brought you the messenger. And as you can see on the screen, Yasunori Mitsuda, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Xenoblade Chronicle 2, guest composer on the game.
Is doing the music, correct. So here's the thing. I think I think that game. I think the Messenger was a different kind of breed. I think you're talking about like an action platformer versus an RPG, and those are two different kind of fan bases there. They're definitely going to deliver a great story. The visuals look great. I think the gameplay is going to be great. I thought there for a minute Turtles was going to be Game of the Year material, and then after playing it, it was a fantastic game, but it just didn't hit those notes that I wanted to hit in certain areas. So,
I mean,
it looks good. It looks fantastic. I mean, there's no denying that. The visual style that they're going with here is gorgeous. The combat is, like I said, like Mario and Luigi. I absolutely love those games. We'll have to see. I heard that the day and night cycle there isn't really too much emphasis on it as much as it looks like it is in the trailer. He has explained that it was not as in depth as people were taking it as when it was kind of first talked about. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be super anticipating this, maybe overhyping it, and then be a little disappointed at the end of the day. I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. It looks like it's going to be a really good, solid game. And who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us.
Yeah, like I said, it looks real good to me. I love turn-based RPGs. We were just complaining about the lack of turn-based RPGs from big developers. This looks good. I'm excited. Excited for this. But you are correct that the Messenger is a different breed of game, so it is going to be interesting to see how they go from action platformer to a RPG turn-based game.
Right. And like I said, part of what made the Messenger great was that it had a great story. So if anything we can really get excited for, it's that they do a great job storytelling, and that's a huge part of RPG. So
yeah. So we'll see. It's one to look forward to in 2023. I don't know if it'll be Game of the Year, but I mean, RPGs with really good story, it could be a contender. At the very least, Indie Game of the Year. I'm not sure if it qualifies as indie anymore. It's kind of hard to tell.
Well, what kind of sucks too is that they're going to be going up against games like, next year, I believe, unless it gets delayed at some point, they're going to be going up against Yacht Club Games is Mina the Hollower. So they're going to have some really good indie type games to
some competition
compete with. Yeah. Yep.
We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Sad to see it delayed, but as long as it makes a better game, I'm all for it. And as long as the developers, obviously, we don't want them suffering under crunch or whatever. You know how I feel about that already. We don't need to get into that again. Some people were saying if it's a Gary game, they don't know if it's going to be good.
You guys know I got good taste. You guys are just ribbing me week in and week out.
So we got a new segment here, something new, brand new. We're gonna trot it out here for you. Hopefully, this will be a weekly thing. It is Dumb News of the Week. And what it is we're going to take a look at the dumbest news story in gaming or geek culture. And we're going to laugh about it. So you ready for this, Gary? Hopefully. You find this entertaining. People really seem to enjoy us ripping on the that gamer article we did last week.
Hopefully it's not about a new Nintendo Switch. I'm so tired of hearing year after year after year about new Nintendo Switches.
No, it is dumb. Not stupid, but dumb. All right, so let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel. This is the Dumb News of the Week. It's a new segment here on the channel, new segment on Gabbing with Geeks. We're going to take a look at the dumbest news story that we could find for the week involved in gaming or geek culture. This week, we're going to be talking about hostile architecture, Gary. Are you excited?
I'm not even sure what that means.
Well, hostile architecture is architecture that is designed in a way that it offends people. But how?
Oh, that does sound kind of dumb.
Overwatch 2 removed hostile architecture from new map at fan request. And as you can see on the screen, that is the hostile architecture. Are you offended, Gary?
I am not offended, but I am intrigued what it is I'm actually looking at here.
What you're looking at is a bench that has dividers so that each person has individual seats, right? So there's 3 seats on that bench. You got 2 armrests for everybody, though in practice it's more like 2 armrests for 2 of the people and 1 armrest, or no armrest for the guy in the middle, because, But you see, this is very offensive to people, Gary, because this type of architecture, which is present in the real world, it doesn't allow homeless people to sleep on the bench. It's very uncomfortable for homeless people to sleep there.
Oh, they could always sleep on the floor.
Sweet and Tender Hooligans Red is anti-homeless. Now, what makes this story stupid is because although anti-homeless benches like this might be insensitive in the real world, you might say, hey, homeless people exist. They don't make their lives any harder than it is, right? This isn't a video game. People were offended that the benches existed in a fictional universe inside of a video game. And to my shock, the developers of Overwatch 2 agreed, and they removed them from the game. It's fucking.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. It's first of all, I never really seen the difference between a bench and the concrete. They're both pretty hard. And it's like you said, Tony, it's in a game. This is just kind of a head scratcher. Like, if a developer's willing, it's weird that developers are willing to bend on stupid things, but the things that the hardcore fans that really have love for the series, things like Pokemon, things that they can't change, they will not change, refuse to change, things that actually affect the gameplay and things that, like I said, hardcore fans want to see in the game, they won't touch. But things like this where, and granted, this is an easy fix for them, right? This is something that they can be like, okay, we went back and fixed it for you guys. And if that's going to sell a few more copies, then we're going to do it. I was always, I heard, I think I might have talked about this before. I heard somebody and a developer talk about, and it was a big known developer talk about how, the developer should be happy with what he makes first and foremost. Fans really shouldn't be a deciding factor. You make the game for yourself, and then hopefully that gets people excited. You please yourself first, and then you please the fans. Obviously, it's a lot different when you have a series that's been over 20 years. Then obviously fans kind of should have a say on the series to a certain extent. What they want to see into it, because obviously you're trying to breathe new life into a game. You're trying to make it fresh. A fan's take should be something. Overwatch has been out for how long now? Like 7 years, or maybe a little bit longer than that.
Yeah. Something.
So
like that.
I would say they have some say in it, but is that really where we're going, or benches? I mean, something that's really not going to affect the game at all.
All right. So while I find it dumb and you find it dumb, there are some people in the chat of this live stream, in case you're watching this on the replay, that are disagreeing with us. They're saying it's offensive in real life and it normalizes it because it's in a video game. I'll tell you this, guys. 9 times out of 10, no one's noticing this stuff in the background of Overwatch. They're playing the game. They're not really thinking about this stuff. They're just trying to play the game. Right? Secondly, again, this is so minimal. No one gives a shit, right? I'm not a bench making company. I'm not like, oh shit, I'm going to change my mind because Overwatch change their benches, right? No. People who care about these kind of issues are already taking the steps necessary to remove them from real life. They should be worried about real life and not video games, right? These are pixels on the screen. Just like when I said people are so scared of pixelated spiders and it's stupid. People who are offended by pixelated separate benches with anti-homeless armrest really have too much time on their hands, right?
I mean, my question is do you think the same people who are complaining about these benches are the same people who are taking time out of their day to go to, homeless shelters and soup kitchens and actually put in the time and effort to actually do something and change the world by helping the homeless? Or do you think they're 9 times out of 10 just complaining to complain?
Yeah. And while some people are saying, well, it fits the theme of the game for them not to be in there, if the developers put them in there, that's their decision, right? If they think that it fits the theme of the game to put them in there, it's up to them. It's not up to some random Twitter user to be like, hey, guys, this is offending me. And the fact that the developer would waste their time, and I know Gary says it's an easy fix, but 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes, if the game is now subpar, you can always point back to, remember that day that you wasted 20 minutes doing
right, it takes away from another aspect. I agree with that.
Instead of 20 minutes of balancing or 20 minutes of testing or whatever it is. So this is, to me, the dumbest news story of the week. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, if you think maybe I'm just too insensitive towards people's plights, whatever it is.
I'm always insensitive. It's okay.
Yeah. Beefy says the people who are doing things for others don't have time to complain about a bench in a video game. They're out doing things. Yeah, exactly.
It's just another non-issue to me. It's like in the grand scheme of things, there are so many more things to really complain about in certain games, and like if this is where we're going with like benches that are there any homeless in the game in Overwatch? Like, are there like, it just seems so bizarre to me to be, this is where we're at. These are the things that we're looking like. It really just must be that gas prices are so high these days that people are looking for everything and anything to complain about. And when example comes to mind when I go over and watch someone like Vito's channel and him complaining about the $5,000 Star Wars drink. I think that has a little bit more merit. Something like that deserves to be kind of critiqued.
I think it's something to laugh at, but I don't think you need to make a whole video on that. I disagreed with Vito's need to make a video. It's like, you complain about every expensive item. Like, oh shit, that watch is like $30,000. Like, yeah, no shit, because it's a fucking specialty watch, right? Of course it's $30,000. Who gives a shit? You can't afford it. I can't afford it. I don't want to buy it anyway. I can see the Star Wars drink was like something people wanted, or if it was like, it used to be like $5. Now we're charging $5,000. Nah, you gotta.
But where he makes a good point is that Disney's just been overall doing this with their parks, and like, my mom took us to Disney World. Like I've been there like 5 times as a kid. Doing 5 times, like taking these kids and the old lady to Disney World is just, I don't have the money, and blue collar people who didn't have the money could visit their parks. It just seems that they're going that route nowadays. It doesn't make any sense. So I understand on that side of it, and there's things to critique about it. But I agree that, like, yeah, Rolex watches have been around for a long time. They're not dumb because I can't afford them. Obviously, I know that. It just kind of sucks that that's happening. I guess is what I'm trying to make.
Again, if it was a thing that was like, man, this is something that all Star Wars fans should drink this, right? Because this is like, oh, you really need to drink this because it's so special. But they're charging $5,000. I could be like, yeah, but it's just any other drink, right? It's like,
right, and it's not the drink per se; it's the experience, and I think that's really where Vito was getting at. It's the experience of seeing something that you've seen on TV. Those things I can't remember. That was like first introduced into like The Mandalorian, right? Isn't that what was holding the gold? Was that not in The Mandalorian? Well, that's where I first remember it.
Well, the drink that the way they call the drink, it's a Kyber crystal drink. and kyber crystals are the things that go in the lightsabers to make the
Right.
light colors. But I don't think I've ever seen them in a drink in the Star Wars universe.
I just seen the little container. I think is the cool. I think that's mainly what you're paying. Because are you paying for like a top shelf high liquor, like Vito says? Are you paying for something that's incredibly aged and expensive? I don't think you're getting that. I think really it's for the experience to have the little container, delivered to your table and it opened and the fog come out and the lights and the pageantry of everything. I think that's what you're paying for more so than the drink is a aged bourbon or something crazy like that.
Well, let's see. According to this, it is a Camus Cognac, Kumquat
Okay,
Juice,
so
Grand Marnier Quintessence, Kingsman Edition, very old Tawny Port, and a
okay,
Pappy
so
Van
if
Winkle 23-year reserve.
okay, so then you'd have to get the average price of that drink anywhere else, and it might not be far off. So, in that respect, then I don't think there's really anything to critique.
Yeah, the Pappy is pretty expensive on its own. Like a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 23-year-old reserve is about $6,000 for a bottle.
No, here's the thing. Do they offer any? See, like Disney, if they offered the same experience with a lower priced drink, I think there wouldn't be an issue, right? Like if you want that top shelf, expensive, aged 20-year drink, that's great and everything. But what about the common man who can barely afford it, but he gets there and he wants this experience? Is there a $100, $200, $300 drink that he could have to experience? Because it's not about the drink, right? We can agree that it's just not mainly about the drink. It's about
Well, additionally, I don't know if anyone's talked about this, but additionally with the drink, you also get wine from the Skywalker Vineyard delivered to your stateroom, and you receive a ticket to visit the vineyard yourself. Right, so it's not just the drink; you get extra stuff with it.
Okay.
But I don't know if the other drinks are delivered in the same manner. They might be. Right.
It would be nice if they had that experience for something cheaper, so that people without the money could have that experience too.
Yeah, but I think the drink itself was just created in order to like, oh shit, we need to make some money. Let's get some rich suckers to give us five G's for a drink. Right? Because I know the Disney or the Star Wars cruise was kind of been taking hits lately. And I think when you put something like this out there, like, hey, there's a $5,000 drink, right? Stupid rich people are like, well, fuck it, I didn't want to go, but now I got to get my fucking Instagram shot with the $5,000 drink to let people know how rich I am. Tommy O says, whatever, man. I mean, I'm allowed to complain about pedophilia in a game, and I don't have to go spend time volunteering at an anti-pedophilia thing. Yeah, but I think homeless people, anti-homeless benches aren't illegal, right? So it's not the same. You're not comparing apples to oranges.
Plus morally, there's a line here. There's a big difference between pedophilia and then someone who possibly made some poor life decisions, and there's some other aspects that factor into that. Yeah. I know I sent in the DMs in Twitter for these guys, somebody did a comparison with if anybody hasn't seen the Pat and Ian, the last thing that they talked about was the Amico trademark being dropped, and Ian threw in the 2 cents about the Roe versus Wade decision, and I had nice things to say in the comment section, and I was getting attacked, even though I was being pretty nice about what I said. I wasn't trying to offend anybody, and I said that was, in my opinion, that was the right decision. And somebody had hit me with, well, if the Roe versus Wade decision was gaming and people said that you couldn't play video games anymore, I mean, it's just a kind of a bad comparison. At least in my opinion, it was a bad comparison.
All right, so I think Junkrat is homeless. Yeah, I think the issue with the anti-homeless thing is very complicated, right? Because not all homeless people are bad, but there are some homeless people that are that are thieves, You don't
Or
necessarily
they've made
want them,
bad decisions. And
they're drug addicts or whatever. You don't necessarily want them in like a public park, or you don't want them loitering around outside your nice establishment, right? When I go somewhere, I don't necessarily want a bunch of homeless people harassing me as I go into the store, right?
right. I mean, there's a reason why your property value. I mean, there's a reason why if you worked hard all your life and you pay for a certain house in a certain location, you don't, stuff like that affects your property value, and it's understandable, right? I mean, obviously everybody has a heart. Not everybody's heartless in this country, but there are things that you worked hard for, and you just kind of expect they should be a certain way, and unfortunately, homeless people hanging around don't help your, property value in certain things. I mean, it's complicated. It's not a simple, simple fix or a simple discussion.
Yeah, I make it a habit that if I see a homeless person and they don't ask me for anything, I'll give them money or food or something.
Well,
When they
see
start
the problem
harassing
with
me, when they
that.
start bothering me, that's when I'm like, dude, you're not getting nothing from me, right?
Well, see, the problem with that, Tony, is, I used to be like that. I used to be like that when I was younger. Unfortunately, I get off at 75 on our exit. There are two homeless people there every day. And then when I get down about another mile down to Fort Street and on Southfield, there are another two homeless people sitting there. And then when I'd be broke. And there have been times where like we still give. Like it's not like I give all the time, and I still give, but especially I give like an inch and they take a mile, right? There's a guy that gets around into like 3 to 4 different cities on his bike. And me and my old lady joke, like every time we're somewhere, he shows up and he's always asking us for something. And it's like, I mean, always. This is not a joke. I mean, he gets around, and then he's always popping up where we stop at the gas station. He pops up there. I like to help, and one of the things I really wanted to do was like, hey, like how could I really help you get like on your feet? Because we donate. Like I said, we donate, and I understand like you need a residence and you need an ID and things like that. And I've wanted to get him established and get him like kind of up on his feet. It's a hard thing to do, but I mean, at what point do I got kids I'm trying to feed. $5 out of my wallet, it's $5 out of their mouth, right? Feeding them for the day. So, I mean, it's $5 doesn't really go far, but you get the point I'm trying to make. I mean, it's like, there has to be at a point that like, you kind of got to stop doing what you're doing, because you're enabling everybody gives, someone like $5 every day. I don't know what he's doing with that money. Usually I try to buy food instead of just handing money over.
Yeah.
But you don't know if you're making the situation worse or not. I guess what I'm trying to say.
So real quick, Potion Sword Run says if the developers took it out, that is their decision too. Yes. But I think the issue that I'm having here is that was a decision they made on their own. They didn't come up with that decision. Someone complained, and then they reacted to that complaint.
They caved into it, right?
Yeah, that's the difference. Like if they just came out and they say, "Hey, you know what? We thought about it." And we said, "Hey, we didn't realize what we were doing, right?" And we realized, then that would be different. And I know it's hard. You're like, "Oh, someone pointed it out," and then they realize. I understand, but I think there's a fine line and a gray area there. I don't know what's in people's minds. I don't got ESP. I'm just saying. Tommy O says, Gary, the common man is allowed to go to Disney World and can afford it only because the rich man is buying a $6,000 drink. The rich people are offsetting the cost of normal people going to the park. That's a good point. He further goes on to say they lost so much money on the pandemic that they're coming up with unique things to charge rich people so that they don't have to charge middle class more money to go to the park.
But here's the difference here. Do you think if Disney ever gets back on their feet that they're going to go down in price? That they're just going to go,
But you can't. We just established that the Pappy that's in there is expensive. This is top shelf expensive liquor.
Oh, but not even that. But just looking at the hotel and the common prices, have you like just regular prices what they were, and not including inflation, because the price of parks
it'll never
rose.
None of that.
Yeah, it'll never go. Not to what it was back in the day. I mean, average people. Their prices were good back in the when, like I said, when my parents took me, it was affordable to go and do that stuff. Now it's becoming so like what you're going to pay for the Star Wars hotel, $6,000. I mean, I just posted this the other day. It only cost us about $1,000 to $1,500 to drive down to Tennessee, have a whole week in Tennessee, and do all those great things. I mean, why am I going to spend 3 times that to have like half the experience, a 2-day experience for that kind of price, whereas I can get a almost a full week experience for a fraction of the price? I mean, it's just insane. It's just not viable to go to Disney World anymore.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of people think that that's the way they want to go. They don't, they want to entertain the rich. They don't want to entertain the common man anymore. So,
all right. So real quick, Sweet and Tender Hooligan says, "What's your guys' take on Disney adults?" I don't know what that means. So you're gonna have to.
What's a
Disney adult?
I think he's talking about the people who go there to be entertained by like all their favorite characters. I think Vito touched on this a little bit, and I think that's where he's going with it. The people who are not there taking kids, but like kind of like I don't know what the Star Wars guy and his wife, what their name is, but they go to the parks and enjoy all that stuff. To me, it's it's your money. Do what you want with your money. If that's what makes you happy, and like all you want to do for the rest of your life is go to Disney and experience the magic that Disney has, even though I would disagree and say that the magic is kind of non-existent anymore. I'm fine with that. I think there are better things to go and do, especially once you do them once, right? You go to Disney World, there's no reason to kind of like you spent a week at Disney World. Do you really need to go back a few months later or a year later? Like there are other great trips and things that you can do with that same money. So
yeah. All right. So real quick, I'm trying to catch up on this chat. Potion Sword Run says there are many full-time workers who are homeless, not just stereotypical life choices. And we've said that. We said not all homeless people are the same. I think maybe I wasn't articulate enough. Maybe I didn't express my opinion. I don't think people should be homeless. I think we should be helping people stop being homeless and not making homelessness easier, right? I think the bench is just encouraging and enabling people's homelessness rather than helping them get out of homelessness. It's not helping them, right? It's like, oh, it makes you feel good that now the homeless guy can sleep in the park, but it doesn't help him not be homeless, right? So let's put the effort into making people not be homeless. Not worried about how comfortable it is while they are homeless, right?
And let me elaborate a little bit. I live here in Michigan. Okay, it's not nearly as bad as when I went to DC when I was a Boy Scout. How there were people under bridges, and it's not necessarily that bad. But we have them on the corners, and we have them on major streets. These people that I'm talking about spend all day panhandling. They don't spend all day trying to better their situation. Now, there are a lot of factors that could go into that, but I'm mainly talking about the people who, I mean, there's got to be a way to get a leg up, and the person that's kind of sitting on their ass in the corner of the street looking for change every day, the people I see every day are not the people who have means, or they're not trying to better their situation, I guess. And like I said, I could be wrong here. Hopefully I'm being sensitive enough on the situation, but it seems to me that if I were in that position, I wouldn't be going back to the same spot every day looking for handouts, so to speak. I'd be trying my absolute hardest to, get money, get a residence, try to get that position so that I can get a job. Because I understand that not having certain things stops you from acquiring jobs and all this other shit that you need to survive. So,
all right. So Sweet and Tender Hooligan says you guys should have led with that. Potion Sword Run says homelessness is a thriving business, so it'll never be solved. We as a nation do not build enough homes. Prices are outraged. Gary is always wrong. Well, here's the thing, right? I know Potion Sword Run is more on the socialist side of things. As great as it sounds, right? No one's really going to be happy. Like someone who spent their life working their ass off to buy a home is going to be happy that you gave someone else a home for free, right? it's like with the free, when there was like free college for everybody, right? And you're like, wait a minute, I spent all that money on college. Are you going to reimburse me for the time and money I spent? Just so, so there's always going to be someone unhappy. That's why the things never work out. Exactly, right? And I want people to have homes, and I want people to have a thriving home life. And in the future, when robots are doing all the manual labor and we don't have to worry about any of that shit, we will be able to implement socialism and social programs that affect everybody. But maybe not in my lifetime, right? I got to understand that. We all have hearts. We're not heartless bastards here. I give to charity all the time. So please don't hurt us. Now, as far as Disney adults go, Tommy says, you guys play Nintendo. You can't say shit about Disney adults. Disney adults, I think they get a bad rep, right? And here's my take on it. When you're a child, like from a lower middle class and down, right? When you don't go on vacation, I've never been on vacation with my family. We've never been to Disneyland. We didn't go see other states. We weren't looking at Mount Rushmore. Our vacation was be at home and, barbecue in the backyard, go to the park more often because your dad's off of work, right? So when these people become adults, when they have money, they want to experience those things that they never got as kids. And I think we should be okay with that. There's not shouldn't be a stigma by finally reaching a financial point in your life where you can go to Disneyland and just indulge in all that, fun. Now, some people take it too far, but some people take all things too far, right?
Right. There's always knuckleheads involved.
So you're just a bastard? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the stigma part. I mean, there used to be, and now there really isn't anymore about the stigma about playing video games. That was something where, like, for I would say probably like 2000, like when I got out of high school, like being that I was like a collector and I played video games all the time wasn't a thing that you really wanted to talk about. And then I think around the time that I started working as a mechanic and really being able to afford games and really put stuff away in my collection, it became like, why am I, worried? I'd be like nervous, or if I showed up at like a GameStop to buy Pokemon, I was like, oh, the nerd buying Pokemon, he's too old for that. I got rid of that stuff. I threw that out of it was something that I enjoyed. And like I said at the beginning, I said, if these people enjoy going to Disney World or Disneyland and role playing the Star Wars way, like if that's what they, find enjoyable, more power to them. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, like, hey, look, you've been to Disney World a couple of years in a row, or wouldn't you rather go to like a Tennessee and go see the sights of Gatlinburg, or go down to California and see the ocean, or
Gary, if they've been there several times, then probably no. The answer to your question is no. They would not rather, right? That's like saying, hey, Gary, you've tried women for the last 30 years. Wouldn't you rather just go do every once in a while?
That's true. No. That's true. I think it's a bad comparison, but it's true. I mean, if you're right. If that's what you like, then I guess you just keep visiting and experiencing that. But
and they change things at Disneyland all the time. It's not like it's the same thing all the time.
I mean, yeah, they do. There's a lot of great things that aren't there anymore that were there when I was a kid that I thought were fantastic. But no, you're right. They change stuff, and I just don't think they're putting the heart into their parks and experiences like they were when I was a kid. But like each their own. If you're enjoying those things and those experiences, then more power to you to spend your money on that. It's your money to blow, not mine. So.
All right, so this is going to be the last thing I think we say on this issue. I didn't realize it was going to be so hostile just talking about stupid benches in a video game. But Potion Sword Run says, fix the issue now for the future, F the past. That's fucking
we
fantastic.
Can't forget about the past.
It's a great thing to say, and I'm sure lots of people will clap and they'll pat you on the back and say, yes, you're right, Potion Sword. But when it comes down to it, humanity is a very horrible thing. We do not actually care as much as we say. We're very selfish. This is why socialism doesn't work, because we care and we're greedy and we want more than we
Survival
should have.
of the fittest. It's in our human nature to be awful fucking beings. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
If you're put into the position, that's why I love The Walking Dead so much, because if anything were that crazy were to happen, you'd see the true colors of even the people who say, you know, we want to save the world. Even those people will be corrupted at some point. If not, then they'd be dead. So like, it's a weird situation. We'll probably never agree on it. It is what it is.
Yeah. Then this is what we
That
deserve.
doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't respect your opinions, and not that I don't want to hear from you. As long as you can understand that, we can all be friends.
Gary hates homeless. Tony hates Canada. No, like I said, we have to, as a species, as a society, we have to evolve our thinking. We have to, you know, love each other, take care of each other, not be so greedy. Not be like, I want for myself, you know, be willing to share. But it's never going to happen because, like I said, that we're just fucked as a species. Every species is like that, right? And it's just the way we are. It's just the way we're built. Zooj says socialists should practice what they preach before forcing their beliefs on others. Yeah, let me hold $5, Potion Sword. Let me share your income. I don't know where Little Buttfuck is.
What?
Little Buttfuck. He's one of our fans. He pops in the chat every once in a while. You don't know that? You never seen his name around?
Maybe I might have.
He's been around. Some people don't like his name, but all right. Moving on to some actual video game news on this video game live stream, and not complaining about society as a general. We live in a society, damn it. Gary, are you a fan of InFamous?
I am a fan of InFamous. I haven't beaten the games, but I put a good chunk of time in those. And when they came out, I thought they were fantastic. I thought they had some different concepts that they hadn't done before in games, and overall, from what I played, were pretty good.
Do you like the Sly Cooper series?
It's another series that I haven't spent too much time with, but you know, your standard platformer with you know, some unique elements. That was another good series.
Sucker Punch has said no to more Sly Cooper and more InFamous games. We're going to talk about that real quick. Reminder, like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so maybe Gary can get a second play date, one that's actually charged. So the makers of the Sly Cooper franchise and the InFamous franchise, the studio says no other studios working on the series. They're not working on new games. It was in a blog post. This is from Video Game Chronicles.
And I believe Blinded tweeted this out a couple days ago, didn't he?
I believe he might have. So it says, in a blog post announcing the migration and eventual closure of servers for Infamous 2's user-generated content, the company also included the following statement about the developers of the franchises. Quote, with our focus on current project, we have no plans to revisit the Infamous or Sly Cooper right now, and no other studio is currently working on projects related to these franchises either. These characters are very special and near and dear to our hearts, so while we never say never to reopening those doors down the road, for now there are no Infamous or Sly Cooper games in development. Sucker Punch also announced that the Cole's Legacy DLC for Infamous Second Son, which was originally sold as part of the Collector's Edition, will be released on the PlayStation Store in all territories. The last entry in the Infamous series was Infamous Second Son, which was released in 2014, starring Troy Baker. Follow-up DLC, Infamous Last Light, which I do have. I've never played it. Was released and also received a separate retail release. Since Infamous, Sucker Punch has developed Ghost of Tsushima, the critically praised samurai game set in the Japanese islands of Tsushima. Last year, Sucker Punch game director Nate Fox and creative director Jason Connell were made permanent tourism ambassadors of the city of Tsushima. They just really want me to say that name over and over again. In January 2021, the popularity of the game also led to fans helping raise more than $260,000 to rebuild a shrine on the real island. So with the popularity of Ghost, I don't think they're going back to Infamous. I don't think they're going back to Sly Cooper. I think they're done.
Right. They want to focus on projects that are popular right now, and give it some time. Those are titles that will be revisited. I don't think it's the end of Infamous or the end of Sly Cooper. They're too popular. You'll see them. Just give it time. It sucks that we're not going to get to see anything probably on the PS5 or, there's still years to go. They could be thinking differently in 3 or 4 years. So, this is kind of a bummer, but, this is what studios do. This is what companies do. Look at Nintendo and Kid Icarus. I thought Kid Icarus was fantastic on the 3DS. But it seems like, they brought that back from the dead, and now they've kind of not really wanted to focus on anything other than maybe throwing Pit and other characters into Smash. But it is what it is. This is normal stuff.
Potion Sword Run says, good for Sucker Punch. Let them make something new and exciting. Infamous, I thought, was overrated. Infamous was all right. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a solid game. Sly Cooper, I played the first one. Again, not super awesome, but it was a solid game. But I do agree that developers should be moving on. At some point, the franchise has been done to death, right? Mega Man, I love Mega Man games, but I don't really need a Mega Man 12, Mega Man 13. Like, at some point, stop.
I do.
Stop. Make something new. You can make something new within the Mega Man franchise. They created Axel spin-off, some Zero games, some other.
Well, if you really look, look at the way people feel about games nowadays. That's what companies are doing. Look at Pokemon. When Legends Arceus came out, it was a different direction, and that's what a lot of newer gamers and gamers who are getting tired of the same old thing they want. I don't agree. I like the staple, the original formula is what made the series good. Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, I'm not a super fan of. I think it's a good game. I think it's overrated. But people want that new direction. They want something fresh and if that's what the majority of people want, then deliver what they want. But at the end of the day, I like to see those things that make me feel all warm and toasty inside, what I loved playing over the years. But everybody has their own opinion, and it's something that they'll come back to. I don't think it means the end of those franchises, but for now, we're not going to see anything, which is kind of a bummer for people who are Sly Cooper fans or Infamous fans.
I think, like movies, video games have gotten into this rut where they're just remastering, remaking old games, or just beating franchises into the dirt over and over and over again. I think we need to, we need more innovation. We need more unique gameplay, unique stories, unique worlds. Take chances. Big developers, big AAA companies need to start taking more chances again, like in the old days.
Well, see, and unfortunately, that's the problem, though, right? It costs so much to develop these games, and unfortunately, sometimes they can't take those chances. So they go with the tried and true, easy,
safe option.
It's a double-edged sword here.
Yeah. So Sucker Punch, no Sly Cooper, no Infamous in the near future. Nothing in the books. Nothing working. No other companies working on them. Some people might think it's a shame. Some people might be glad that they're moving on to bigger and better things. Let us know in the comments what you think. I don't know, Gary. I don't know. Gary throws hot takes on purpose. He belongs to the chat.
Do I? You'll never know.
No, I just think Gary actually means that stuff. Now I think we're going to talk about something that's a a little more controversial than our last couple of topics. And I'm pretty sure that when we talk about this, we're going to be pissing off a lot of people, Gary.
Well, that's what I live for.
What you live for, all right. So we're going to be talking about developers being harassed by quote-unquote fans. Both the God of War team as well as the Monkey Island team have received quite a bit of harassment. We're going to look at these stories, see what's similar, see what's different, and talk about our feelings on fans stepping over the line, right? Making demands of
No, they don't do that, do they?
Maybe. But let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so we can bring you more controversial topics like this. So, Gary, I don't know if you know this, but there's a new God of War coming out.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do
November,
if I told
right?
you? Yeah, what would you do if I told you that there's no actual release date? Right, they haven't given a release date for the game. How far would you go to get that release date from an employee of Santa Monica, Sony?
I mean, I'm not gonna go far at all. I'll probably add my 2 cents into a comment section or something along those lines. I feel like my voice is not going to change. Their work schedule, and there's no point for me to waste that energy into contacting their emails or anything like that. I might say it depends how I feel about it. You know, if it's something like the Amico where it's for 4 years and it's like, oh, they need a little bit more time. No, I'm gonna say, look, it's been 4 years. What the hell are you doing? I think fans of, if there's any fans of any video game right now that should be really royally pissed off and upset, it's guys that are who have been waiting for like a Metroid Prime game. I mean, they've been waiting a long time. They've seen reveal trailers and the production or the cycle, the development cycle of that game's just been crazy.
Gary, great answer, but I think you missed the setup, right? Because I was trying to set you up for something, Gary. What I was going to say was, Gary, how far would you go to get the release date on a game? Would you send a Twitter DM? Do you think that's far enough?
I probably wouldn't even do that. No.
What about an angry email?
No angry emails. That's not helping anybody.
So what about if you contacted employees and said, if you don't give me the release date, I will not stop sending you dick pics? You think that might be a little too far?
That's definitely harassment. And I think you need to really step back and reevaluate your life. If God of War is encouraging you to send dick pics and you think you're going to get your way from that, I think you really have to step back and maybe take a break from gaming in general.
Yeah, this comes from Push Square. God of War fans, quote unquote, harassing Sony Santa Monica employees with unsolicited penis pictures in exchange.
Damn it, Dean.
God of War Ragnarok was allegedly due to be dated today, but Sony delayed the announcement for reasons we'll probably never publicly know. The likelihood is that it's down to logistics involving pre-orders, but that's pure speculation on our part. As anticipation reaches fever pitch, however, fans are taking their enthusiasm to disgusting new lows. Estelle Tagani, hopefully I said that name right, a cinematics producer on the sequel, noted on Twitter that she'd received harassment in the form of unsolicited penis pictures, which so-called fans were sending in exchange for more information on the game. To the people, I'm laughing, but I don't find it funny. To the people who are doing this, she asked, when did that work for you? It's certainly unsavory behavior. Sony Santa Monica's Corey Barlog has since weighed in on the subject. I cannot believe I even have to say this, but don't fucking send dick pics to anyone on this team or anyone in this industry for that matter. Or anyone. He should have added, but don't ever send an unsolicited. Yeah. Ask, and if they say yes, ask again and be like, can you repeat that in writing? They're busting.
I mean, this is just weird. This is bizarre. I mean, like this has to be like this can't be like our generation type people. Like maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to think that our generation is a little smarter than that. This seems very bizarre and childish behavior. You're not getting your way. You're throwing a temper tantrum, and the first thing you think is like, "I'm going to show my dick." That'll get him to send you a release date.
I showed you my dick. Please respond.
So wait, is this just all? So these are dick pics. There's no like some female fans that are upset sending like vagina pics.
No, they're basically, and it's not even like, "Hey, I know you like my dick, guys. Give me some answers." No, it's more like, "I know you don't want me to do this, so I'm going to keep doing this unless you give me answers." It's almost like a
childish behavior.
The end of the quote is they're busting their ass to make something for you to enjoy. Show some fucking respect.
I mean, the game, it's got to work, guys. It's coming out. Give them time. Like, it's not like they're going to cancel God of War. And most likely, it's usually to make some form of the process of getting the game out to you better, whether that be the right timing, and obviously they have, maybe there's something that they feel that's going to compete with God of War. They just don't want it out in that time frame. I mean, there could be so many things for the reason of the delay. And then, people have gotten so impatient these days that they can't wait. And that like waiting a few extra months is like, dude, I waited a year from when I ordered the Playdate and it came. And guess what? Like, it didn't affect any of that time before, but now that I have it, I have it and I enjoyed it that much more, right? I like anticipated it that much more, made it that much more sweet when it finally came to me. So I don't understand this. I got to have it now. And if you don't give it to me now, I'm going to scream and kick like a 5-year-old. This makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree. This is complete entitlement. But that wasn't the only developer being harassed. This is coming from, I believe, The Verge. Ron Gilbert won't post about the new Monkey Island anymore following online abuse. He shut down comments on the blog post following personal attacks. It says, this week we finally saw the first gameplay trailer of Return to Monkey Island, a follow-up to the first and second Monkey Island games that's headed up by Ron Gilbert. Much of the game's rollout has been delightful. An apparent April Fool's joke by Gilbert about a new Monkey Island game turned out to be a real announcement. But there's been some sour discourse following the new trailer and on his personal blog. Gilbert said he won't be posting about Return to Monkey Island anymore. I'm shutting down comments, Gilbert said in a post featuring the new trailer. People are just being mean, and I'm having to delete personal attack comments. It's an amazing game, and everyone on the team is very proud of it. Play it or don't play it, but don't ruin it for everyone else. I won't be posting any more about the game. The joy of sharing has been driven from me.
Yeah, see, so now it affects the childish behavior has even seized further news about the game, which in turn you didn't get what you wanted. You just made it worse for everybody else.
Yeah. Continuing on, it says, from what I've seen, most of the negative comments have been focused on Return to Monkey Island's art direction. The original game used pixel art, but the new game opts for a more cartoony look. In an April interview with The Verge, Gilbert said it was an intentional decision. Quote, so it isn't pixel art, and that was a discussion that David Grossman and I had early on about, should it be pixel art game? Should it be a not pixel art game? Ultimately, we thought that we thought that we just had a lot more freedom and flexibility to not make it a pixel art game. I think people are going to be very happy with the art once they see it and once they see it moving in the animation. We have an incredible group of animators on the project, and it's really neat when you actually start to see everything moving in the game. And Gilbert tried to address criticisms of Return to Monkey Island's art style in a May post on his personal blog. Quote, Return to Monkey Island may not be the art style you wanted or were expecting, but it's the art style I wanted, he wrote. Unfortunately, though, some people have continued to say vile stuff, and now it seems we won't be hearing from Gilbert about the about what looks to be a terrific game. Seriously, if the short scene featuring on the Return to Monkey Island website, complete with a classic point-and-click dialogue tree, is any indication, then I think we're in for a treat. So yeah,
that's the that.
How do we have to tell these people? Why is it that we have to tell people this? Don't harass people. Don't make personal attacks.
Because not everybody uses common sense. Unfortunately, not everybody was born with good old-fashioned logic, and they don't. And nowadays, the internet and everything that's gone on with TikTok and it, there used to be a time where anonymity was a thing, right? We used to say our bad takes, but nobody knew who we were. And now everybody's open to having these bad takes with, knowing who you are. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm so happy that he said, like, hey, it might not have been the art style that you wanted, but it's the fucking art style I wanted. And that's what I talked about, but about an hour ago, is that the developers should be pleasing themselves first. The fans come second. And usually when your direction is that small, you don't have all these different, oh, you should do this, you should throw that in. And then it just becomes like a hodgepodge and the game loses its direction. This way that they took a avenue and they focused on that. And at the end of the day, it would have been nice to see another Monkey Island game with pixel art, but it seems like it's going. I don't think Death Spank had pixel art, and people loved that. And I think it's more along the same lines of that art, from at least the few screenshots that I seen. Now, I was not aware that this was like the third game. I thought this was like another remake, only because I only glanced over this just a little bit. Like I said, I only seen a few screenshots, but it's good to know that they're going the direction that they want to go, and at the end of the day, it'll probably be better for it. Am I sad that it doesn't have pixel art? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I mean, this looks, from the screenshots that I seen, it looked just as good. So
yeah. So we got this comment here. Didn't people have issues with Sonic the movie and they made him better? These people are too sensitive. Lol. I think that the difference is people. Hold on. I think the difference is that people were attacking the Sonic model. That it looked ugly. It's a bad model. Versus people attacking this guy on a personal level, like, hey, you're a fucking moron. You're an idiot. Go, self-delete yourself. They were
right. It was constructive criticism.
Yeah. So there is a difference.
And they knew, like, Sonic fans, it's like the Turtles. Like, the Turtles looked hideous. Who was that? The Michael Bay ones?
Yeah.
They looked hideous. And Sonic just didn't look right. Okay, Sonic didn't look right. And if they did the right thing, they went back and they made Sonic look the way he should have looked. And there was a difference, like Tony said. They probably did get attacked like that. I'm sure there were a few knuckleheads out there that said, you guys are assholes and idiots for making Sonic look that way. I'm sure they got that. They just never reported on that. But the right thing to do is, hey, they had constructive criticism, and they didn't have to go back and redo Sonic. They could have released that movie the way it was and got it out earlier and not spent more money redesigning the way Sonic looked. But at the end, they did, and I think it was a win for them. I think not everybody praises Sonic, but they said it was an okay movie. It was good. And then a lot of people went and seen the second one because of it. So there are times where that works and you'll be listened to and they'll take it to heart. And then other instances where it's just unnecessary and you have people attacking a developer because it was his choice to change the overall aesthetics of the game. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and this is the 6th game overall in the Monkey Island franchise, though it is the 3rd chronologically.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they went and remastered it back on the 360 days, right? It came out for the 360 arcade and PlayStation Store. They remastered those 2 games. And yeah, Monkey Island's all over the place. I would someone like Ron Gilbert and their development decisions I will trust because they have delivered. They've delivered the goods in the past. So I stand by his decision to work the art. Might not be my favorite art style, but he's the developer. You get what you're going to get.
Yeah. Don't harass developers is what we're saying. The overall message of this.
Yeah, most of these guys don't cave into terror. And it's basically like terrorist demands, right? Like, I won't buy your game if you don't use pixel art, or I'm not going to support it. Or
all right. So Potion Sword Run is not understanding the point, but I'll explain it to him. It's okay. We'll break it down for you. He says it's okay to complain about Sonic to get changed, but not the benches. I get it. No one was complaining about Sonic because they were offended. No one was saying that Sonic should be changed because homeless people might see Sonic and be offended, right? No one was like, you're normalizing ugly Sonic. Okay? There's a difference. What the complaints
well, there
were.
was a right, and there was like when they developed it, it wasn't intended that to offend homeless people. I mean, Sonic just didn't look right. It's like if they made him look like Mario, I mean, wouldn't people complain, hey, Sonic looked like Mario, he doesn't look like Sonic? I mean, that was the whole overall gist of that.
Don't normalize ugly Sonic, please. Yeah. Like I said, there's constructive criticism and there's being offended by things unnecessarily. It's like when people were offended that Mario Odyssey had the sombrero Mario, right?
Is that you, Tony?
No, I liked it. I like Speedy Gonzalez. I think they're great characters. Sonic looks like shit. That is offensive. Homeless Sonic. Now we've come full circle.
Damn it! There goes our. We've been demonetized now.
All right, so there is a game that I wanted to talk about. Something that I saw that I was like, "Yep, this is a game that I'm looking forward to." It's not one I asked about. It's not one I was anticipating. But when it popped up in my feed, I said, "Fuck yeah, I want this fucking game." So we're gonna talk about it because we got nothing else to talk about. Gary, are you a fan of the Monster Rancher franchise?
Oh, I was growing up when it first, like when Pokemon and Monster Rancher and Digimon were kind of the things. Yu-Gi-Oh, I did, but it's not something that's held my attention over the years. But I do understand the appeal of it.
Well, I was a huge fan of the Monster Rancher franchise. I love the games, love the anime. But now there's a new Monster Rancher coming out. But this is a collaboration with the Ultraman franchise.
Ooh.
This is Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher. Let's take a look. Let me know what you think about it. You get to train and raise fucking kaiju and have kaiju battles. Now I know that some people are saying Amigo graphics, the gameplay is very basic. All the Monster Rancher games have always had this basic battle gameplay. Just the fact that you get to raise and train fucking kaiju, giant monsters. I've always had a special place in my heart for big rubber suits and guys beating the shit out of each other like Godzilla.
And it's pretty on the nose because as of right now, I think that there is a the oldest. He's been playing some kind of, I don't know if it's Roblox or some kind of kaiju type game thing. So I think this is good timing on their part. It looks so to me. I mean, it looks like something I could pick up and play. Yeah, the graphics don't look the best, but again, I'm not a super graphics whore. I don't need the top of the line look to the game. As long as it's fun and yeah, they're nailing on things that are kind of popular right now, which is giant monsters.
When have giant monsters ever not been popular? But it is the Ultraman franchise, so these are not just random monsters. They have this NFC feature that they're using. The original Monster Rancher games would have you open up your CD tray, put in another CD, and it would generate a monster based on the tracks. There was some kind of formula that the game used, like the amount of tracks or data on the disc. And it would give you a random monster based on that. I guess in order to replicate that, but on the Switch, they're using the controller's NFC function. So you could use what appears to be either cards. It says continue to touch the NFC until it finishes reading. It cannot read correctly, adjust the facing position of the NFC. So I'm guessing anything that can be read by the NFC reader can be used to generate monsters, or it'll give you, like all the games have a choice of just basic monsters. So for me, this is a must buy. I don't really buy Switch games. This right here, English release coming soon. Fucking buying it. Day one purchase. So we'll be playing this on the channel probably. You'll see me raising giant monsters. That's what I'm going to turn the channel into, a fucking Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher channel. Get ready for that. You ready for that, Gary?
I'm very ready for that.
But that's all. I just wanted to show it off. Because like I said, I am very excited for that. We got one more topic, and I saved this for, actually we got 3 topics. Now that I think about it. We got to go over the polls from last week because we forgot to go over those. We got a little bit of Amico news. I was kind of saving that, hoping that maybe Dazed or Blinded would jump in. And we got to talk about the Nintendo Mini Direct that just happened. Did you watch that, Gary?
I did. It was it's kind of disappointing, but I wasn't expecting anything major from them. So it wasn't really a big shock to me. So it's kind of nothing.
I think we'll go over it anyway and give our takes. But the first thing that I guess we'll go over is the Amico news. Are you excited, Gary? Every week we got some Amico news.
There's more in the tank. There's still stuff to talk about.
Oh, this was sad. There was nothing to talk about. I had no plans on talking about Amico news. I was just, minding my own business, and I got a DM, and I said, "Hey, there's some Amico news here." And I was like, "Well, let me take a look and see what's going on." And sure enough, it was just a little bit. Now, this one picture has been posted on Reddit, but we're going to go over additional posters or pictures because, like I said, we always dive a little deeper. So let me just get this banner up. We really need a soundboard. You gonna make us a soundboard, Gary?
I'm working on
Yeah, I've been working on it for the last month. All right, we got a small Intellivision Amico update. This was sent to me by a friend of the channel. They said, hey, take a look at this. One of the individuals that was working on the console made some posts on his personal blog, and you might want to take a look at what he shared. So I took a look. It was interesting enough that I said, hey, let me share it with the audience that we have here. But before we do, let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends. I know some of you said you don't got friends, but share it with random people you see on the street. Chase people down, force them to watch the video, whatever you got to do. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because if you're watching this, you might as well be subscribed, get alerted to all the new videos. Gary, you remember the unboxing video that happened quite a while ago?
Yes. John Alvarado showed us what it would be like ripping one of these bad boys open.
How would you like to take a look at a prototype Amico box? It's an early render.
Prototype. Sounds good.
As you can see here, this is the prototype Amico box render. This was, again, done by somebody who worked for the company, somebody who was in a high position within the company, who was in charge of creating the render for the box. This is the prototype. As you can see, glacial white. But you might notice in the area right around here. Now you see there is an Evel Knievel, which is okay. But right in this area here, you notice anything funny, Gary?
It kind of looks like some Nintendo characters there.
That it is. We got Wario, we got the Koopa Trooper, Shy Guy, Diddy Kong. There's Luigi hiding back there, and I forget what her name is, but she's from Super Mario Galaxy.
Starts with an L. I can't think of it right now either.
Yeah, I can't.
Rosalina.
It starts with an L. Rosalina.
No, it's Rosalina and Luma. That's why I was thinking of Luma, but no, it's Rosalina.
Yeah, so that is the early prototype. It's got the same blue. It's got the same blue patterns, the same box within a box. I know some people had seen a render of the Amico box prior. And I'm wondering if this is the render that they've seen. Because it is interesting that people were really excited. Remember how they were really excited about the box and Tommy was really excited to show it off?
Oh, yeah, they were excited.
So I'm wondering if they saw this and that's what got them excited, because they saw the Mario characters. They're like, oh, man.
Because that's going to happen.
So I thought that was interesting. But that's not the only thing that we got here. Let me see. I'm trying not to dox the person. So I gotta, you gotta do what I gotta do to make sure that we protect our sources. We have sources. Our sources talk to other sources. They let me know that the sources that we have are good sources. And we like to use those sources and keep our sources protected when we talk about sources. I'm sure you guys understand that. This is the prototype box for the Amico controller. Again, as you can see, glacier white, I should say. Amico wireless controller, integrated touchscreen and motion controls. So nice little fancy box. And this is the controller cross section. So any of you that know your boards and stuff, maybe you could figure out what's inside there, what's inside the Amico controller. And of course, we got the
skins.
Skins, the overlays, as they call them, even though they're not the overlays that the Intellivision are used to. They were going to be in 3 packs. Got the little punch hole.
You can get your Tiger King skin.
Yeah, they were all set to have them, sold at the counter, sold at the register. And there's only one more interesting picture. Let me get to it. This is the cross section of the Amico. Again, if you can figure out what's in there, let me know. So we can build our own. But really, that's it. That's all. Is it a capture card? Beefy says trash. Trash is inside. Yeah. Now Trini has become Murray. Maybe. Leopard print goes with the wood grain. 56K more cents. I actually have a leopard print blanket. Ladies love it. Ladies love leopard print. This thing has too many damn boards for what it is. Agreed. So that's it. Nothing big, nothing groundbreaking, just a little. It was posted on the subreddit for Intellivision Amico. I was able to get all the other pictures, as you can see. What Amico update? I just came back. Nothing. We just showed off some early prototypes of the box, of the controller box, of the skins, the overlays, and then some cross sections that they did. That's it. That was the only update we had for the Amico. Still no Chapter 11. Still no going away. No dirt. Nothing big. Sources have been quiet. It's a holiday. All right, do you want to do the polls from last week, Gary, or do you want to just check out the Nintendo Mini Direct?
Let's check out the polls.
All right, hold on.
Check out some poll.
Let me get that up. I gotta say, I do like the new computer. It's still working. I have not ruined it yet.
Keyword yet.
Yeah, that is the keyword. I also appreciate the 629 subscribers we got. Love each and every one of you. Now, we didn't do any polls this week because we forgot to go over the polls from last week. My bad. All right. I believe this is, man, it was like 2 weeks ago we haven't done polls. Pretty sure. Do you remember going over these polls right here, Gary?
It's been so long I don't remember anything.
Fuck it. We'll go over all of them. All right, so we're going to go over some fan polls. You guys have been asked questions, and then you supplied to us with the answers. And we appreciate it. We didn't do any polls this week, like I said, because obviously we forgot and we were busy and we wanted to go over last week's. We will be getting to Gary's play date shortly, but we want to go over this because, like I said, we asked you guys some questions and we appreciate your answers. So 2 weeks ago, we asked, do you want to see us do more videos reacting to other videos? Your choices were, yes, you guys are funny as fuck, or no, you guys are cringy. And with 89 votes, 52% of you said you guys are funny as fuck. So you're going to see us reacting to more videos on the channel, more videos during the live streams. Democracy has won. All right.
Just another viewer is asking, does Gary like Cuphead or is it too hard? I have actually not played Cuphead. Cuphead was something that I was waiting for this last DLC pack to come out, because the developers did state that they were going to release it physically, but they were going to wait until all of the DLC was finalized and in there, so that they could kind of have it all in one package. I don't know at this stage if they've announced any physical release yet, but it's a game I'm looking forward to playing once I can get it in my hands physically. So and I heard it's hard, but those types of games, I've played a lot of shooters and games like that on NES, which were notoriously hard. So while hard for a lot of casuals, I think that game is probably not going to be as hard for someone like me.
All right. Moving on to the second poll. It says, is the Sonic the Hedgehog man? I really don't know English. I think I was going to say, is the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise good? But then I changed it halfway. It is your second language, Tony. It is. Is Sonic the Hedgehog a good game? Your choices were yes, it's a classic, or no, it was always trash. 146 votes. 75% of you said yes, it's a classic game. Obviously rigged by the Sonic fanboys.
I voted 20 times.
In my opinion, it was always trash. Never a good game.
Oh, it's not that bad. It has some glaring issues, like the speed thing. Like the game is centered around going fast, and as a kid, and if you don't know the game very well, as a kid when you're trying to play it, there are a lot of obstacles stopping you from doing just that. So it does have some design flaws. I don't think it's as bad as you guys make it out to be. I don't think it's. I do think it takes a seat to like Super Mario 3 or Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World. I do think those are the better games, but Sonic has a place, and I don't think it's trash.
I think it's trash. Certifiable garbage.
Unjustifiable.
It's terrible. And all you people who voted that it was a classic are misinformed, jealous gatekeeping. Sega fanboys. That's all it is. With nostalgia goggles. No, I mean, I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect your opinion that you think it's a good game.
Sonic 2. I think Sonic 2 is the best. You're going to have the original Sonic.
Rabbit Dude says, Tony, Sonic was a good during the Sega era, but I still prefer Mario. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair take. I think most people agree with that.
All right. 76 votes. We asked you, why do you tune into Gabbing with Geeks? Your choices were to hear Tony's sexy voice that drips with honey. That got 24% of the vote. To hear Gary's latest hot take. That only got 18% of the vote. To hear Days give out boomer life tips. That got 20% of the vote. So, Gary, you're in last place. No one comes for you.
Shit.
And winning the poll, to cure insomnia, 38% of views.
We got the cure. We need a patent that shit.
But if I'm looking at this poll correctly, that's 40, 50, 62% of you come to see either myself, Gary, or Dazed. And only 38% say insomnia. So I think the crew overall wins this poll. So again, democracy has spoken. You guys love us. Can't get enough of us. We appreciate it. All right. Do you think YouTubers should remake their old videos? 123 votes. 24% said yes. 76% said no. I thought this was going to go the other way, personally.
I mean, I guess it depends on the video, right? If is it popular enough to put the time into doing that?
Well, I would think that you would remake not popular. Like some of the early videos I did, right? The microphone's really rough. I wasn't really confident in my speaking. Maybe my points weren't clear enough. I didn't articulate.
Well, there's only so many ways to polish a turd, Tony.
Oh, yeah, but what I'm saying is, was it a turd because the topic was no good, or was it a turd because my delivery?
I think if you're good enough, I think people will tolerate the filming with the potato or the audio. I know even though my smoke alarm would go off there for a while, I think people still tuned in. They tuned it out.
I would just think that bigger YouTubers, some of their early videos might be a little rough. Maybe update them. Do an update. Do a remaster. I guess not. I guess people don't want that. What is the number one reason you watch videos from this channel? 88 votes. Tony TGD's breaking news got 23% of the vote. The GWG crew triggering idiots got 19% of the vote. The exclusive inside scoops got 17%. And all the above won with 41%. Again, you can't deny science. You cannot deny facts. You guys love us. We're the best. Greatest show on YouTube. All right. So this won 114 votes. How many games do you have in your backlog? Gary, how many games do you have in your backlog?
Oh my God, I got so many I couldn't even tell you the number. Like I said before, I tend to I pick up a game and foolishly I open them when the smarter decision would have been like some of these other guys. When you get to it, then you finally open it. That way I could have probably held value in a lot of games that I had. So it's a big number. Like I said, I have over 1,000 games. I have quite a bit. A lot of the games I've played for at least an hour or two to at least experience it a little bit. A lot of games I haven't beaten. I have hundreds in the backlog, and I don't ever know if I'll be able to get to them, but they're definitely all games that at one point I've wanted to play or I have played a little bit and put some time into them. But there's just too many games, not enough time in the day, but I have quite a bit.
All right, so 56K warning says even the polls are terrible. This post-Carl era sucks. Hashtag heavy breathing. He says his Steam library is 99% backlog. Yeah.
And see, that's the big thing is if you go, like, I know if we ask Ninja Kitty this, his backlog's probably incredibly high because he tends to buy a lot of these games on sale. And I think if you are a digital guy and you do the same thing where you're buying these games at like pennies on the dollar, you have quite a few things to play.
All right, so 114 votes. Your choices were under 25. 23% of you in second place have under 25 games in your backlog. Over 25, under 100 is 19%. Over 100, under 300 was 22%. Over 300, under 500 was only 4%. But over 500 games in the backlog was 32% with the winner.
Whew.
I
guess I'm not the only one.
I fall into the 4% over 300, under 500. I got about 450 games in my backlog.
Now, is there anybody out there that does like what I do? Like will you buy a game and then play it maybe for 10, 20 minutes, maybe an hour, a couple hours, and then say, okay, I need to come back to this when
I got more time.
When I got more time or I finish another game. That's usually what I do because I get excited about something. Like I can't just buy it and then stuff it in the backlog. I gotta at least experience that for a little. I gotta at least get my money's worth for like an hour or so.
I do it sometimes. It depends on what the game is. Like certain games in my backlog are like sequels. Like I got what the hell is that? Not God of War. The one where you play as War. What the fuck is that? Darksiders. I got Darksiders, right? So then Darksiders 2 goes on sale. I'm like, well, fuck it. I better pick up Darksiders 2 right now. It's on sale. Then Darksiders 3 goes on sale. And then fucking Darksiders Genesis goes on sale. Well, fuck it. I got to buy all those. Right? Because if I'm going to play the first one eventually, I'm going to want to play the second. And now they're on sale now, so I might as well buy them. Same thing with like Assassin's Creed. Like a whole bunch of them went on sale. I was like, well, fuck it. Let me buy all these Assassin's Creed games. Because I'm going to get to them eventually.
Hopefully.
So yeah, so I got like a lot of games in a franchise or in a series, or I'll get like the compilation, like the Mega Man collection. So I got all like 10 fucking Mega Man games.
Right.
And speaking of Mega Man, they're coming out with the damn Battle Network collection.
Yeah.
So you know I'm gonna get.
I thought about Carl when that came out because I know Carl had just bought his modded Game Boy Advance, and he went and spent on a reproduction cartridge that I believe had multiple ones on there. So when I seen that, I knew a lot of fans were really happy with that, especially seeing as those games in general are kind of reaching up there in price. So not bad on Capcom's part to go and drop those.
Finbar says that's what I had to do with Yakuza. Yeah, I got all the fucking Yakuza games too. I don't got the first two because the first two didn't come out. They re-released them as Kiwami. So I got Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it was like Yakuza 0 or something like that. So yeah, I got all 8 games in the franchise. And I still haven't played them. I played a little bit of 0. And then life got in the way, and then I just haven't gone back. 56K1 says Yakuza has so many games I didn't even feel like playing the franchise. It's like seeing a CW TV show with 50 episodes per season. Nope. Well, that's why I'm a real gamer, because I purchase at least 10 games a year.
So it looks like the family's home. It is a late dinner tonight because they were out and about. I could wrap up the polls with you here, and then it looks like we might move the play date to the after show. But I'm gonna get off here in about 5 minutes so we can wrap these polls up, and then I'll be back later.
I will save the Nintendo Direct for when you come back too.
Okay.
We'll just kick that to the after show. And that was it. That was actually the last poll, Gary.
Okay. Well, I'll see you guys here in a little bit. I'll be back. Enjoy some late dinner and a movie with the fam. I know you guys will be kicking till 4 or 5 in the morning.
You never know. I mean, if there's no one else on and everyone's just chilling, we might end it early.
Oh well, we don't get to it tonight or in the wee hours in the morning. There's always next week. So.
That there is.
And then next week, I'll have more games on my play date because I'm sitting on week 3's games. So 6 games and then everything I side loaded. And then next week, I get 2 more surprises come Monday.
Sounds good. Tommy O wants to know what's your favorite game? What's your real favorite game?
Favorite game on my playdate or just of all time?
I guess of all time.
Of all time, I've mulled this over, and it's really hard. Like doing the top 5 Sega Genesis games were hard enough. It really was hard to do that top 5. To do my top 5 or even my favorite game of all time, there's so many games. I mean, I absolutely love the original Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation. There's so many things to love about that game. There's so many things to love about Final Fantasy VII. That's my go-to for Square RPGs. It's hard. I couldn't give you a number 1 of all time. What I've played the most over the years. It might be a Sega game. I'd really have to sit down and really mull it over. But there's so many fantastic games that it's hard to pick a number one.
Can you pick a couple of number ones? I mean, something. Give us something, Gary.
Like I said, I really love the original Metal Gear Solid. I think that's up there. For a span of like 5 years, I played Skylanders religiously. Like that was the only thing I would play, just because of the fact how I could interchange characters and approach the game how I wanted. I know it's basic and it's just a platformer, but it almost felt like Mega Man in a way, where you play Mega Man to kind of screw around with the powers system, right? I thought it was unique and fresh to sell figures, and I could go to the store and it was kind of like a double combo, right? Like I'm like, oh my God, what characters am I going to find at the store? And then you get home, you unbox it, and then you get to tinker around with these new gameplay decisions of like, what kind of powers does he have? How does he work? How can I combo with it? Like Skylanders was like, I know everybody
It's like
hates
microtransactions.
I mean, it was in a sense, but you were still getting something, right? You're getting a statue, you're getting a figure, which is cool because I'm like a toy collector in a sense too. So it fed both those needs for me. But there was just something about it, like having a new gameplay style every time I went out to the store and found a new character. There's something about that I absolutely loved. It's sad that they like the Toys to Life genre died, and that the series kind of fell by the wayside too, because I thought what they were doing was really good. Mega Man has always been my go-to for retro. Like I'm a big Mega Man 3 fan. I think 2 is like generally accepted as the best Mega Man. I disagree. I think it's a great game, but I've played it so many times now that I'm kind of sick of it. 3 was really solid. I liked a lot of the bosses in that. I think the OST in it's really good. Mega Man was always my favorite. 5-10 years ago, I would have told you Mega Man, hands down, was my favorite series, and 3 was probably my favorite game of all time. But there's just so many games I've played since then that it's
Potion
hard.
Sword Run says Skylanders was for young kids like 6-year-olds, Gary.
And if you haven't played it, then you missed out quite a bit on a fantastic series. I don't know what to tell you. You could create your own characters. Come on, in Crystals, Imaginators was amazing. There's a reason why Robo goes for like $500 loose. Like he's expensive. The last figure ever released. I mean, that people want him.
Well, personally, for me, my favorite game of all time, it's like Gary, it's hard. I played so many.
Taking the best of Disney, of old time Disney and characters, and then bringing them into this game world with like actual toys. There was something very special and magical about that for like around like 5-6 years. I can't remember how long the series lasted. It was great.
Evil says you said Hunt Down was your favorite game last time. You lied.
Hunt Down, and here's the thing. Hunt Down it's so hard because I go back and forth. I'm really like wishy-washy on the subject because I've played so many games. Hunt Down is a fantastic game. Like it is probably my favorite current modern retro inspired game. There's something about that world in Hunt Down, that the amount of love that was put into the actual scenery and the attention to detail and the effects going off and all the little things that it has, and it reminds me of the Warriors. It is. I stand by that. That's got to be in my top 5 of games of all time. There's just something very magical about that game as well. But it's hard. When you ask me, like on a day-to-day basis, it changes. It's like, where am I at currently in my gaming mood, I guess. And it is hard because it changes from day to day.
Well, for me, I think I go top 3 because, like Gary, it does kind of change, depends on my mood. But I do love Suikoden 2. Fantastic game. I love Shining Force 1. Fantastic game. And
Better than 2?
Better than 2. Shining Force 2, it lost a little bit of its luster. Plus, the story is kind of screwed up. You have to play those Game Gear games to really understand the complete story of 2. Where Shining Force 1 was more standalone.
I got you. I had 2. I never played the first one.
And then the game that I go back to most often, I even go back to it now, is Stardew Valley. I love it. It's so relaxing. Just grow vegetables, and, talk to townspeople. It makes farm life seem like something you want to do. I know in real life I'd probably hate it because it's a lot of work. But in video game form, it's fucking fantastic, right? It's relaxing. Yeah, Finbar says, it's never easy to just pick a favorite of all time. As a gamer, you end up with a huge list of favorites just by virtue of the fact you feel like dipping into different genres at different times. That's true. Stardew Valley is so good but addictive. It is, and they're doing a new update for it. It's going to add a couple more features. Love it. The 2-player, I was a little disappointed in the 2-player mode for Stardew Valley. But overall, I love that game. So addicting. I'm looking forward to Haunted Chocolatier from the same developer. Why aren't you guys eating food on stream? That's for the after show. As soon as the after show starts, I'm going to start eating. I got pepperoni, some pecans, some cheese.
I don't know how well you guys can hear me, but my AirPods are dying. I'll either see you later. I should see you later regardless. I don't know if you guys are going to be on or not, but I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. All right, Gary. Thank you for stopping by. All right. With Gary leaving, we're going to just go ahead and go into the after show. I'm going to give you the link. Link is in the chat. Meet me over at the after show. Thank you for watching Gabbing with Geeks. 2 hours and 36 minutes. Respectable show. Hopefully Gary comes back. We can look at the Nintendo Direct, Mini Direct. We can ask him about Playdate. But click the link. Meet me at the after show. Love, peace. Bacon, booty grease, or something like that. We out this bitch.